Happy 4th of July, everybody. Or
Woohoo!
America! So, hello, and welcome to the 4th of July edition of the Beardy Boys. So, here we are, 17 episodes in on this, and a bunch of crazy stuff's happening.
17 episodes since 1776 when this country was founded. Hell yeah, brother.
Yes, 1776. Hold on. Wait, I'm 35, Chad's 34, Rick, you are
25.
25. So, damn, we're not at the collective age for it to be 76. So, damn, missed that. But anyway, so, happy America Day, everybody.
No, it's not America. It's America Day. Happy America.
Happy America Day.
Dude, it's been America week, actually. The 4th has fallen on a Tuesday, so everybody I fucking know has been like, well, this Friday I can't do anything because of 4th of July, and on Saturday I can't do anything for 4th of July. And Sunday, I mean, it's 4th of July on Tuesday. Monday, well, you know, it's 4th of July on Tuesday. So it's been like a whole week of the 4th of July for some years. I have never known it to be like this, but this year in particular, people have milked that political and federal and bootlicking teat to the grave. I'm just tired of it.
And my whole thing is I don't know.
I can't do anything. It's the 4th of July. Like, what difference does that make?
No, it doesn't make a difference. Dude, it's 4th of July and I'm still recording videos and, you know, tolerating you shitheads.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey!
So, yeah. We are of course, having ourselves a really fun 4th of July so far, you know.
Yeah, you guys are.
I always enjoy getting my ass kicked at fucking Gang Beast by Rick.
That's the reason why you're so tired and sweaty, is because you just got done single-handedly steamrolling us in this game of soccer.
Yeah.
I'm 3 games of soccer.
Yep, I'm out here fighting for my life. I got fucking goddamn scorpion outside my door from Mortal Kombat. That's how hot it is in my office. Let me see if you can probably see it. Look at this. Look at this number right here. Look at that number. 85 degrees.
I can't read, so
same.
Even numbers.
So yeah, the whole deal with us, being here though, it's 4th of July, bunch of crazy stuff's happening, fireworks are exploding all over the place, driving Asher crazy. So that's the other thing. It's like he hears the popping and the crackling outside, and all of a sudden he's just like, "Boo, boo." Yeah, and he thinks like there's someone outside or someone bad or anything, but it doesn't matter. So, overall, it's been a pretty interesting build up to the 4th. Bunch of my family doing celebrations over the weekends and shit like that. You know, barbecue and, family members coming in and my mother being miserable because of it. But hey, that's just how it goes. But outside of 4th of July, we've had some pretty interesting stuff pop up. For instance, outside of the 4th of July, there have been several announcements of certain things. For instance, there is a Suicide Squad isekai, Suicide Squad anime that is being made, and it's just basically making people go, huh? It's like it. So basically, it's the Suicide Squad in another world. You see, it make the Batman Samurai Batman movie, made sense to a certain degree because it's just like it's still like historical Japan, but this is just like, oh, but the Suicide Squad goes to another world. I'm like,
so we're gonna have a Harley Quinn.
I guess I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I just don't.
Harley Quinn.
I just don't get like why they keep beating a dead horse at DC. It's like Suicide Squad didn't work. Well, let's try Suicide Squad again. It didn't work. You know what we should try again? Suicide Squad. And it's like, dude, there are so many other stories that they can choose from, frankly, much more interesting characters than the Suicide Squad.
But dude, you don't understand. It's like they have to make it work. They have to prove a point that, we're not useless. God damn it. We've fired like 4 studio heads in the last 10 years because none of them can get it right. It's like
You need to dismantle the whole entire DC EU, whatever the fuck it's called, and just go from ground up again.
Well, that's what
Get a
James Gunn's
proper
trying to do. James Gunn literally said like he wants to try and restart everything, and that's why he said that's why the
getting
Flash
rid
is
of
like the last
Henry
one.
Cavill. That's the most dumbest move ever.
I hate to say
It wasn't
but
his fault. It
No.
wasn't his fault how
No.
shitty everything turned
Well,
out for him.
here's the
Because
thing,
they
they've tried
told
to
him
make
he's
him-
no longer going to be it, and then they go back to saying he's it, and then they told him he's no longer it, and then they tell him to make a post saying that he is it, and then after he makes that post, James Gunn's like, "Yeah, I don't want you specifically to be Superman. You out." It's like, but you just told, like, he went back and forth like 4 or 5 times saying he's in and then out and in and out and in and out.
It's just the
I'm gonna just
power
call him
struggle
Dick
at
Cavils
DC.
because he's like going in and out.
Well, dude, I hate saying it, but this is the thing with it. Henry Cavill, they've tried him to be Superman for what, almost 15 years now, and it's gone nowhere. And I hate to say it, but as much as I love Henry Cavill, as much as I enjoy watching the man do his thing and work, and I enjoy everything that he's in, there's just sometimes you just have to cut your losses. It's like I love Jason
like
Momoa.
Superman in general.
Yeah,
Superman is boring.
Yeah, it's like Jason Momoa. I think Jason Momoa is a great Aquaman. I think he makes a great Arthur Curry. But the DCEU isn't working. I think they realized they were fucked once Wonder Woman 84 flopped. I think they realized that, oh god, we don't have anything. Because and then all of a sudden the Batman movie, that they ran out of money making because they'd fucked up spending so much money on these other films, it actually not only made its money back but made its money back like 4 or 5 times fold. And now they're just like, I guess people like these kind of movies where there's nothing really, doesn't have to be an overarching plot.
It was better marketed. I don't think the movie was that great.
I thought it was at least an 8.5 out of 10.
It was well, when you compare a Three Musketeers to a fucking rotten turd, the Three Musketeers is going to be better. That doesn't make it a great candy bar. It was an okay Batman movie. In the list of Batman movies, it is nowhere near the top for me. I think it was overhyped given how shitty everything was. Everybody also wanted it to be a lot like the Joker movie that just came out, which in its own right is a great movie. To me, it's a shitty Joker movie. It could have been its own thing and had nothing to do with the Joker and been just as good. I
don't know. I thought that it was a good film, and it was a good
film in its own right, but that is not the Joker. It's its own thing.
Well, it's a different kind of Joker, man. I mean, honestly, that's the thing with the Joker in comics. There's actually 3
That's
Jokers.
the thing with DC.
There's 3 canonical Jokers.
That's the thing with DC. They like to reinvent the wheel in a lot of ways and create their own side stories that have to do with nothing to the core characters that they've created. Well, outside of Batman, Batman's been done pretty well many, many times, I think. But people get this false notion that, like, once the Dark Knight trilogy happened, people's perception of Batman movies in general just completely changed after that. Nobody knew that it could be done like that. So all DC has done, in my opinion, since with Batman is try to top that dark, brooding, serious Batman that happened, and they've never done it.
Well, it's because, number one, you had a masterful filmmaker like Christopher Nolan.
I mean, it's just, those are the best, in my opinion. Those are the best.
I will say this. In terms of ranking those films, I would say it would go Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
Because I liked Dark Knight Rises, but at the same time, the swerve you could see coming from a country mile away. And I was in theaters and I heard the people clapping and cheering and everything. I'm like, they literally told you that this was going to happen almost like an hour and a half ago, and you're
I think The Dark Knight Begins was number 1 for me, simply because it showed you the progression of Bruce becoming Batman, and it, like, the first half of the movie was entirely character building for him, and getting him to the point of where he could be believably Batman. All of his training, where it came from and shit is so important, and we never really got that. It was always
never
just
did, yeah.
this happened and then Batman. And it's like, that was so awesome to me. And
Well, yeah.
then, the obvious champion of the Dark Knight, the Joker being portrayed the way that he was, had never really happened before. Jack Nicholson got pretty close.
Well, there's, again, we talked about like the three different Jokers. There's three different types. There's Golden Age Joker, which is more along the lines of what Jack Nicholson did.
Exactly.
There's the Silver Age, which is like what we got in the Adam West Batman series.
Yeah.
Like the cartoonish, like
yeah, exactly.
And then we have what we got with Heath Ledger, which is the Bronze Age / Modern Age, which was really cemented in comic books like The Killing Joke and a few others that really dove into the psyche of why the Joker was that way. See, the Golden Age Joker is like a criminal mastermind. He's a criminal mastermind that dresses up like a clown, and that's Jack Nicholson, and he has that goofiness about him, like firing the gun behind his back and all that, like yeah. But then, of course, you get into Heath Ledger's, which he digs into the psychosis of the Joker better than anybody.
Yeah,
and as much as I loved Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal, I would say that the problem with Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal is it's basically an off. They've done comics like this in the past where it's called A World Without Batman, and originally the way the film was going to end was actually it was Thomas, Martha, and Bruce all got killed. That was originally what Todd Phillips wanted to do. He wanted to go like big, like cojones, and like. There is no Bruce Wayne in this universe, a.k.a. there is no hope. And thus, you just see the complete and total degeneration of all of everything. And now we're getting the sequel, which, honestly, I guess we'll see how that plays out. Also, big aha, I told you so to everybody out there who mocked me for saying that there would be a sequel to that film. Go fuck yourselves.
They made too much money for it to not happen.
$1 billion. I mean,
They made too much money.
And they only spent, I think it was what? How much let's see. Joker 2019. How much did that cost to make? Joker 2019 only cost $70 million. And it made almost $1.1 billion. I mean, that's a hell of an investment return. And,
it is.
And studio heads love that. They're just like, we only spent about $50 million to $70 million on this.
That's
Holy
literally
crap.
all they care about.
Yeah. Well, no, you have to appeal to their wallets, man. That's how you get them. And that's the thing. That's why I think these directors need to stop asking for budgets of like $150, $200 million.
So why aren't we talking about Jared Leto Joker?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it's always that easy, low-hanging fruit, right? But what do you expect him to do with that? They gave that to him. He did not give that to them. It was Saints Row Joker for no fucking reason. And it wasn't really Jared Leto's choice. He fought it. He was angry about it. He had every right to be angry about it. Everybody was angry about it. And that was still in that time period.
Hours of footage, and they only used like 16 minutes of Joker?
If that. And,
they chopped his nuts off in that.
Yeah, they did. And here's the thing: because of that, and because of Morbius, Jared Leto has been like branded the worst actor of all time. And I'm like, y'all motherfuckers have never seen Tommy Wiseau, right? Y'all don't know who Tommy Wiseau is, right? I mean, that is easily the worst actor of all time, and it's not even close. I mean,
And there's people like Nicolas Cage who. How many flops and how many shitty movies has Nicolas Cage been in?
Oh, during the early 2010s, it was a new one like every month.
And people still hold him in high regard as an actor.
Speaking about Nicolas Cage, guess what? Guess what happened with Nicolas Cage?
What?
He's an official character in Dead by Daylight. I think starting this month or next month.
I heard about
that. They're adding him into Dead by Daylight.
I heard about that.
He's a survivor.
I was going to say, it's going to take everything in my power to not just like do my Nicolas Cage accent whenever I'm playing his name. It's just like, I don't really like being out here in the woods, man. Had a really bad experience in the woods. Found my friends hanging around by their fucking toenails, man. It ain't cool. It's not fucking cool, man. It ain't cool.
Jesus Christ.
And it's gonna take everything in my power to not just do that the whole match and just be like, "Who the fuck are you? Are you trying to be a little sexy little bunny because you're failing miserably?" And then all of a sudden, you just like hang me up on a hook. It's like, oh, of course, like every fucking producer after I made Next, you left me fucking hanging, bro.
All I know is what the DCEU has to do is just demolish what they have now, restart it, and build it properly instead of trying to be in a rush to compete with Marvel.
Well,
They rush the projects and they try to be a competitor.
They have an opportunity
Right
because
now,
Disney
Marvel
is hemorrhaging money because of
Marvel is on
Yeah.
a downward spiral, like complete like kamikaze spiral.
Yeah.
This is a perfect opportunity for DCU to just like stop being a dumbass, just demolish what they have, just get rid of everything, just wipe
I
their
wouldn't
hands
do
clean of
that.
it, and then
Well-
just go back up because
Well-
they're missing a lot of key people for Justice League, and they keep on transitioning people in and out, in and out, in and out. So you're better off just starting from scratch and
I
then
think-
rebuilding everybody again.
I think we're just experiencing fatigue whenever it comes to comic book movies. I think that's where we're at right now. I think the new horizon is video game movies and video game like based content because you look at what Mario did, you look at what the Sonic movies did, you look at what The Last of Us accomplished on HBO, and me and Nick talked about this, and Legend of Zelda, that's one that a lot of people said, "Oh, I'd love to see that on the big screen." And here's what I would say. Here's my recommendation. I would not use any of the previous games, and instead I would talk to Eiji Aonuma. I would talk to Aonuma himself, the man who is like the head of the Zelda franchise, and I would work with him to craft a story that can be told over the span of 3 to 4 films. Like an epic in that regard. And honestly, it would give an opportunity to basically start fresh and not have to retread on stuff that is very hard to adapt from video games. Instead, you're actually able to take your time and tell a new story within the Legend of Zelda universe without having to, do callbacks and be like, have the, aha, remember that moment? Aha, remember that? It's like, the member berries, basically.
You can't even do the same thing with
harder.
Pokemon. You can do the same thing with Pokemon. Detective Pikachu was I think it was a
It was a great
success.
movie.
Yeah.
It was
It
a
was
very
amazing.
good movie.
Well, maybe if they could do like Indigo, the Indigo League movie. Probably within,
Games
like,
are
2 or
harder to
3
capture than superheroes. You
It
take
also
something
depends
like,
on the
here's the
content.
proof. Here's the proof in the pudding for me. Sandman, they stuck directly to the source material, smashing success.
Yeah.
They had the guy who created the shit in
Well, yeah,
charge
Neil
of
Gaiman.
almost everything.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman was head
Smashing
creative head on it.
success. Where things fuck up is where they try to reinvent the wheel and are just ignoring the fans, ignoring the creators, doing whatever they want to, taking the stories and ripping them apart like they did with Superman versus Batman, when they're injecting social situations and trying to morally posture like Disney does. That's what's killing everything. When they stick to the
Agendas.
source material and they give the fans what they want, it'll be incredible. And it's so much harder to do that with video games.
It is.
I don't think that the industry is mature enough in adapting things yet, even to successfully do it with video game movies outside of the easy ballpark home runs, inside the park home runs like Sonic and Mario. You've been able to slap shitty stuff with Sonic on it and make money off of it for years. You can some of the worst games ever are Sonic games, and they still sell pretty well because
Yeah.
it's Sonic. It's hard to fuck that up. Mario's almost impossible to fuck up. There's a successful RPG that people love of Mario. Who would have ever thought? Because why would you ever fucking blend those? They just did, and it worked because it's Mario.
Well-
But when you get into stuff like Gears of War, you get into stuff like that have these stories that we know and that we love. When you see it different, it's gonna fuck you up.
Well, and that's why I would say, in terms of like direct adaptations, Gears of War, like it depends on the content, because Gears of War is something I could very much see be adapted and have a gritty feel to it and more like a real world feel to it. Whereas Legend of Zelda, I would hope that they would follow the likes of Peter Jackson and and create and people like fantasy directors in that regard, and they would like try to maintain that fantasy feel, but also have like give it a feel that also feels like it's real, like it's actually like here, physical, has like it's made of flesh and blood. Whereas, Gears of War, that would be a lot easier to adapt than I think Legend of Zelda, simply because
the pitfall would be taking artistic liberties, which they do all the time.
Which is why I think that, given the right studio head, I think if Wingnut Productions, if Peter Jackson basically was head producer on this, and his, basically he put his own money into it for the first part of it, and they just he hired like a good director to helm it and everything, I think it could be successful enough to where studios would eventually be like, okay, so this is what we need to do in order to make this work. And I think Universal has the rights to Mario right now. They have basically they're the doorway into Nintendo, and I think that if how they handle it here over the next 5 to 10 years is really going to determine how much faith like people are going to have in video game adaptations. Like right now it's pretty high because of the Super Mario Brothers movie. The Super Mario Brothers movie, once it debuted and once like people saw what they were wanting to do with it, there were still people who were apprehensive, especially because of Chris Pratt. Then the film comes out and people are like, I don't even notice it. I don't even notice.
It was amazing.
Yeah. And now it's high right now. Like anticipation is very high, and I think Universal, given their desperation, I think they're willing to because right now they've almost lost complete faith in Vin Diesel. Like they have given so much money to him for the Fast and Furious franchise, and they were hoping that it would make them back. Like, hold on, Fast X. How much did Fast X? Oh, damn it.
The thing is with the whole Fast series, they strayed so far away from what the movies was supposed to be about.
Right.
Yeah.
The Fast and the Furious is supposed to be a racing movie. Supposed to be people who lived in quote unquote poverty. They had pimped out cars and they raced for the cars.
Yeah,
My car, if I win,
slips.
I keep your car. If I lose, you keep my car.
Yeah.
And that was the premise. And then one it was an undercover cop to stop the whole racing community things. That was the premise. An undercover cop trying to catch Vin being a racer and all that kind of shit. And then that's it. Now they're in fucking space, driving underwater.
It's like Friday the 13th became Jason X.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing.
Yeah, that's the jumping the shark moment. And I think
driving on a 500-mile-long runway for a plane.
I think
and then you drive into the plane and out of the plane.
Okay. Fast 8 is where they started to truly jump the shark and go completely ridiculous.
Not even that one was 8, was 6. This is 6 had that 2,000-mile-long runway.
Yeah. But
and then also having the safe.
But dude, suspension of that's Fast 5. Dude, in terms of suspension of suspension of disbelief though, that's more along the lines of just like action movie, suspending your disbelief to a certain level. That's stuff that it looks cool and it's fun. But whenever you get stuff like what you had in Fast and Furious 8, where it's nothing but just a bunch of cars just like crashing for no reason,
Matrix cars.
Yeah, they're in fucking Dubai, driving from one part of a tower to other part of the tower.
Yeah, and I'm just at that point, I'm just like, this is.
And then the Rock holding a fucking helicopter while grabbing onto a pickup truck and fucking Hawaii. And he has the power.
Well, that's reality. He would have been. That's the Rock.
Well,
he would have been ripped in half.
But you see, Captain America did the same thing in Civil War.
Captain America's Captain America. He has super serum.
I know.
So does the Rock, by the way. It's called Tremana. It's his tequila.
It's the fucking Samoan serum. That's what he has.
Samoan serum. That's a real thing, I believe.
Samoans, dude.
I believe that's a real thing. Just look up the history of Haku, and you might believe in Samoan serum.
Dude, Samoans are nuts. Yeah. Haku's a beast.
This man was holding on to a chain with his
Dude.
bare hand and holding on to a back of a pickup truck with his
So-
bare hand. It didn't even break in half.
But
How?
Go ahead, Chad.
Did you guys see that shit about the ride in Caravans, the fucking roller coaster that had that huge crack in like the fucking joist holding it up? And they were just rolling the roller coaster, and some of the fucking people that were there were like, "You have got to shut this thing down. This thing is falling apart." And they were like, "Oh, it is, isn't it? All right, we need to shut this one down."
Oh my god, the Fury 325, really, dude?
Yeah. Dude. Could you imagine going down the thing and somebody being like, "Oh God, look."
Yeah. And it's like there's no stopping it. Like it's just like
Oh, dude.
And this is where we die.
roller coasters, but like
I do
that shit
too.
always freaks me out, man.
Yeah, I was always scared of El Toro because it was like a wooden roller coaster.
Oh,
from
I
Six
see
Flags.
it, dude.
I was
that's
always scared
ridiculous.
of maybe somebody fat coming
Yeah,
on.
the
and
picture
it
of
just-
it's horrible.
Dude, hold on. Let me see if I can share this with y'all. Hold on.
Yeah, El
see.
Toro scared the shit out of me as a kid.
There. Oh God, there it is. So here we go, boys. Let me get to this and then share screen. Oh, damn it. Carowinds cracked. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. That's way too much, man.
Look at that, dude. Look at
No.
if you can see light on the other side of it, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that's no.
No,
Here's
dude.
the thing. I love Carowinds. I love the Fury 325.
Me too.
It's on my like my well not skinny Nate, but it's on my like non-fat Nate bucket list. Like once I lose enough weight to be able to fit on roller coasters again, I want to ride that one.
Mhm.
Like I have a bucket list of just like all these parks: Cedar Point, Carowinds, Kings Island, Kings Dominion,
Dude,
freaking
King's Dominion.
You ever been to Six Flags?
Oh, Six
Yeah.
Flags, yeah. Six Flags Tampa, I've been there, and the one in Texas,
Busch
I want to
Gardens?
go there. Busch Gardens, I've been
What's
there.
the one in
multiple
Atlanta?
times.
Isn't that a Six Flags?
I think so. Hold on, Atlanta.
That's the one that I've been to. That one, King's Dominion, Cedar Point. I think those are and Dollywood, obviously. But
Yeah, hold on. Let's see. Atlanta.
By me. So only thing I've been to is when I went to Florida, I went to Busch Gardens.
yeah, I've been to
Six
Busch
Flags
Gardens
over
as well.
Georgia. Yeah, so Six Flags over Georgia. It is.
I've been to Hershey Park.
Universal
Park.
Studios,
And Donny
Disney
Park.
World.
Universal. Oh yeah, Islands of Adventure down in Florida,
Yeah.
which is like Universal Studios and everything. Dude, there's a lot of parks that I have on my bucket list, and that's just on the East Coast. West Coast, I mean, California, like Mega Mountain, I want to go there so
Yeah.
bad.
I
Uh,
never
Barney
want to
Park.
see one of those cracks on any of the rides I'm getting on, though.
No,
That is a
you see-
hell no
you
from
see,
me, boss.
Safety precautions like that. My
Mhm.
whole deal with that is I just see that and I'm like, okay, that is gross negligence on behalf of Cedar Fair, and they're lucky no one got injured.
Right.
Because if someone did get injured, that
That's
roller
closing
coaster's
the
gone.
park.
No,
That's
that
closing the whole damn park.
Yeah, that closes down the
closing
park.
forever.
But that ride specifically will be
Gone.
nixed because
Yep.
I hate to say it, people had faith that Son of Beast, the roller coaster would be back after they removed the loop because a
Mhm.
person had like a neck injury, they like had whiplash because of the loop de loop. Only wooden coaster in the world that had a loop that had like
Yeah.
and unfortunately, people were just like, oh, but they removed the loop. Everything's good now. No, the lawsuit basically drained them so bad that they were just like, dude, let's just tear it down so no one else can claim like bullshit on this. And
Didn't
then they
one of
did.
Mick Foley's kids get hurt in Dollywood?
I think so. Let's see. Let me look at that. Mick Foley, Dollywood. There it is. Long-term neck injury suffered on Dollywood. Oh, it was Noelle Foley, his eldest daughter, who,
Yeah.
of course, she's posting thirst traps on fucking Instagram. Go figure.
Big surprise. But yeah, dude, like I love roller coasters, but I know I have been rattled by them.
Oh,
The Incredible Hulk was one that got me. The Anaconda.
Oh,
What was the
yeah.
one at Busch Gardens? Apollo's
Loch Ness
Chariot.
Monster? Oh, Apollo's
Is
Chariot.
that
Yeah.
that one was wild? Somebody
Loch
hit
Ness
a
Monster
bird
was awesome too.
on that one.
Ooh.
When I went on the Apollo's Chariot, somebody behind me hit a bird.
Oh,
I went
Yeah.
to Kingdom Ka and Six Flags, and it didn't make it to the top, so we went backwards.
So you rolled back, yeah. That happened on Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point, dude. Me and my
Oh,
dad.
I've been on that one too.
Yeah, we were there, and we were just like, we saw it. The guys in front of us go up, get all the way to the top, and back right down in front of us. And they always ask you, "You want to go again?" And then me and my dad were just like, "Dad, I know it'll scare the crap out of me, but I want it to roll back so we can go again." So we can get 2 rides out of this instead of
it's
having to
just
wait
one
in line
launch too. That drop is the whole thing.
Yeah, it's you go from 0 to 120 miles an hour in like 1.4 seconds. Same
It's
thing
beautiful.
on King Dakar. It's basically the same concept, but King Dakar is like 30 feet higher.
The Rebel Yell and that's King's Dominion. Well, it used to be. They don't have any more, but it was a wooden coaster that you could go front or back. You raced. They had both going at the same time.
Yes.
So that used to be my favorite.
They had one like that in Cedar Point called the Gemini. You had one that was blue, one that was red, and depending on like the weight of like the people who were on the roller coaster, like one actually went faster than the other, and like the winners got like a thing of candy at the end of it. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, they like hand you bubble gum or some shit like that.
Well, yeah, that was my topic: roller coasters and that fucking crazy shit happening. Because
that's some pretty insane shit, dude. I mean, I love roller coasters, but they are literally controlled chaos, and you have to maintain them. You have to, because it's just how it is. Anyway, Rick, what's the subject you'd like to discuss today?
I guess we could talk about Twitter and limiting your posts you can see per day now.
Oh, you mean like everyone's like official, like, oh, that's it, Twitter's dead. Like everyone's saying that, and it's like, it's not fucking dead.
If you don't have it, well, if you just make your account, you're limited to seeing 300 posts in one day. If you're unverified, meaning if you don't pay for Twitter Blue, you can only see 600 posts in a day. And if you are a Twitter verified person, you can see 6,000 posts a day.
Okay.
So basically, be forcing you to basically pay for Twitter Blue. But
well,
it's like it kind of.
He says it's temporary. He says it's temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary, but it's still.
Well, you know why he's doing it, right?
Because of
Scrappers.
Okay.
Scrappers is a form
people data mining.
Well, yeah, data mining, and also not only that, but a lot of bots that basically are just like on there, like scanning everyone's accounts and scanning what everyone says and everything like that. And they're doing that to get rid of the scrappers, and I understand it, but at the same time, I would have basically just come out and said, like, there is a data mining problem on Twitter. We need to address it, and we are sorry for the inconvenience of this.
True.
But we need to do this in order to alleviate the scrapper problem on this website. And,
yeah, true. For your protection, ABC.
Oh yeah, and it's been a problem for the last 10 years. Scrappers and data mining services have basically just been on there, like, just completely jackbooting people's data and their tweets and everything, and have basically been targeting them. And I hate that shit. And
I mean, it's never gonna go away. There's no real way to combat all of this stuff outside of heavy regulation like what he's doing. But you got to understand that still comes across as like some nanny state bullshit online.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is, once you let the fucking genie out of the bottle, there's no way to put it back in. That goes with social media. That goes with AI. That goes with marijuana decriminalization. Because don't get me wrong, when it comes to advocacy for marijuana and stuff like that, I do think that it's all good and well for people to have access to it. But that doesn't mean that it's okay for people to have access to all of these heavy derivatives of THC that are, you know, just concentrates and stuff. Because there's a difference between drinking a beer and drinking a whole bottle of liquor. And that is not made clear for people with marijuana.
No.
You know, but once you decriminalize it and just don't do anything else, it's just like a free-for-all.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what a lot of things are right now. We're living in a time where it's a big free-for-all with technology and our rights. That's why we keep seeing things sway so crazy. It's like, oh, we're taking it all or we're giving you everything. And it's just like, there's always a happy medium. You know, it's just
Well,
going to take a while to figure it out for all of
happy
these
medium,
things.
and that's the thing with happy mediums as well, is that the like what the happy medium is changes as well, because society changes. Society always
Yep.
changes, and you can't really nail down 100% what is the happy medium for everybody. Instead, right now we have the extremes. We have the extreme bottom and the extreme top. The extreme bottom is like no cannabis, period. Then it's just
Hmm.
like all cannabis, period. And it's just like it's like very slowly you're going to chip away at those extremes. At least that's how it should be. And then you're going to be left with an even smaller gray area. Once you get to that gray area where the legalization is basically just like it's like okay, like cannabis legalization and everything, you have to be 18 or you have to be 21 depending on
Hmm.
the state that you're in. And it's just like okay, potency, you have to have a warning label on it. Like a red label is like THC level of 70 and above. Yellow label is like between 40 and 69, and then
Hmm.
the green label is like 39 and under. And it's just like, and I think that would be a better way to make sure that people know what's in there, how strong it is, and also you can have listed like the terpenes and everything else, all the different stuff on the side of it,
Yeah.
what the contents are, like what they have at most dispensaries. And I think
Which
that
is
that would
also
be the
incredibly important. And people
yes.
don't know that either. It's like it is not all made the same, and it does not all give
No,
you the same effects. They're drastically different.
you are not
So
kidding.
you got to be intelligent about what you're doing. And that goes again for just like the AI thing. There is, I have had AI lie to me several times and apologize
Hmm.
after I go, because I will ask it stuff about things that I've done. I will, write something, I'll put it into the AI and be like, what do you think about this? What suggestions do you have? And it has suggested things to me on topics that I'm very knowledgeable about that I know are bullshit. And I'll be like, this part of what you just told me is complete bullshit. And it'll be like, oh, I don't
I'm
know why I
sorry.
made that mistake. I'm sorry. This is not right. And blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
And it's like, are you
Freaking
fucking
bots.
serious?
Freaking bots,
Like,
dude.
why couldn't you have corrected yourself? Proofread your own fucking work, you bastard. You can do it in a millisecond.
You're asking too much, dude. You
Yeah.
because that's the thing with technology is artificial intelligence. I'm not 100% convinced of just like all of the things are going to be taken over by it, but there is a lot of stuff, like a lot of remedial things that are just going to be
Hmm.
lost now
Yep.
because
A
of how
lot of busy
easy.
work is going to disappear.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a lot of law work as well. That's the thing, because if you scan all of the law books into these supercomputers, then they can compute through and find every single piece of information that you need.
Hmm.
Instead of you having to scour yourself, go to like a library in the middle of the night. It's just like Turner versus State of Virginia, like what from 1976. Okay, let me flip through everything. Instead, it's just be like, okay, and you can, and most computers can do that nowadays. But instead, you can do like a big omnibus and just be like, I want this, 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 and this, and I want it to like form a concise argument. Boom, there it
Well,
is.
it's just like when it's A plus B equals C, then it can do that. But when you ask it to get creative and produce, it can't do that. So you ask it to
Yeah,
write like an Eminem style song, it'll do that, but it's gonna suck. It's not
yeah,
going
Yeah.
to be a good one. It knows it doesn't know the nuances that make things good or that produce the output that you're asking for with your prompt. All it
mm,
knows how to do is just deliver something that is what you ask for. It doesn't mean that it's going to be good,
true.
you know.
I the funniest one for me was Charles Berthoud. He's a bassist on YouTube.
Hmm.
Awesome, by the way, super cool. He basically went on AI just to see like how far it has progressed in terms of like music and everything, like Chat GPT. He's like, okay, Chat GPT, write me a funky bass line, and instead it just goes, all right, here's your funky bass line. Dum 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 dum. It's
It's
like
like no.
that's not a funky bass line. And he was just like, okay, maybe I need to be a little more detailed. It's just like, give me a Bootsy Collins style bass line. It's like, okay, here's your Collins style bass line. Dum, 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 dum,
Hmm.
dum, dum. It's like, Still doesn't get it.
You feel that shit though. That's how you know when something is like from inside of you and it doesn't have a real solid, just by the books explanation. It can't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
The
and
higher
that's
the
what
detail, the
separates
better.
us. It's what separates us from animals. It's what separates us from anything else. It's what makes us human is our fucking soul. You
Yeah.
can't produce that
Yep.
out of AI. You can't.
Unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, like that's a limitation that I think AI for now has, and I think until we're able to like completely conscience transfer over,
Hmm.
that'll be the game changer in terms of like creativity, because if it
Like
can
that
pull
shit
from
Johnny Depp movie where he was like
uh,
AI
a
transferred
film
sentience.
a film so bad it made Wally Pfister one of my favorite cinematographers of all time. Also, one of my favorite like names ever in Hollywood, Wally Pfister. You know, Joe just
Wally.
yeah, but his last name was spelled Pfister.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then I'm like, dude, like imagine let's just like, and now here accepting the Woody for best like best fisting scene, Wally Pfister. Oh God, too much. I'm
So
sorry,
funny.
but all right. So Twitter, though, I would say the biggest thing with Twitter is we're gonna have hopefully, small little levy reliefs on this thing that's going on. It's like they're gonna increase it to be like, okay, now fresh accounts can see this many things in one day, but people who have verified themselves as human with this stuff, basically now you can see unlimited.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that makes it a lot more difficult for scrappers to do their thing. And then
Right.
Twitter Blue, I would say, they're probably just gonna go back to doing the same thing. I know that Theo Vaughn had one thing about Twitter is they're living up to their end of the bargain in terms of like free speech and everything, because friggin' Theo Vaughn did a podcast with Roseanne Barr. This is years later after her big exit from her TV series and everything, after she said some very questionable things.
Hmm.
But he did that, and he tried to post it on like Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and everything like that. And it got completely just like nuked off of every single one of those. So instead, he was just like, hey, can I post that on here? And Elon was just like, go ahead. And he posted it on Twitter, and it's up, and people are able to listen to it on Twitter. And he's just like, I guess we can call this the lost episode, brother. And there you go. It's awesome that we're at least getting that, living up to that end of the bargain
Yeah.
on it. Although
True.
I will say that it's just, it's not perfect by any means, but people saying that this is the end of Twitter, I'm like, that's hyperbole, if I've ever heard hyperbole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it would take a lot. It would take, because that's one of the most popular platforms to ever exist in all of mankind. So it's
Yeah,
like,
and changing hands from one group to another. I mean I mean, what's the problem? Like, what has changed other than the fact that
Not much.
other than the fact they actually have programmers now who know what they're doing?
True.
yeah,
I mean, say what you will about the people that were in charge before, Jack Dorsey and all the people who were there before. They had like the only programmers like that were there were in like head positions where they weren't actually making code for anything. uh Jesus. So yeah, this whole experiment that's going on, I don't know. I feel like we're all just in a simulation. We're just gonna wake up and it's just we're all just gonna
Joe
not remember
Biden,
any
wake
of
up.
this.
I would
Joe
demand a
Biden, wake up.
refund.
Huh?
I would demand a refund.
I would too. I'd wake up, not remember anything, and be like, why do I feel grossly disappointed? Huh.
Then
I
I
want
would
my
look at
money
my
back.
penis and be like, oh, that's
That's
why.
why.
I could just see it being like that scene in Rick and Morty, like the what was it, the one
Or
where
where he lived a whole life in the VR
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
what's the name of it? What's the name of that damn Rick and Morty simulation game. There it is. Roy, A Life
Roy,
Well
yeah.
Lived. And honestly, I don't know how I would feel about doing that game, because I would probably flip out and just be like,
Yeah, no thanks.
as soon as I come back, I'd just be like, where's my wife? Where are my kids? What?
Yeah.
Why do my legs work?
That's definitely how I would feel about it.
Oh,
Huh.
but yeah, I guess we're gonna end it here, everybody, because I know, Chad, it's already almost 1:30, and I know that's sort of your cutoff time. So I guess we'll end it here. So until next time, one and all out there, we love your faces. We love, yeah, just the
Yeah.
yes, thank you, yeah. I can't do that, man. It's too strong. The smell is too strong. I'll just hold on. Let me.
What? Where'd everybody go?
Jesus, woo! Yeah, you got the swamp ass and the swamp pits too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Rick, you want to play that game? There we go. How's that? I can't do that. My mic's all the way up here. It's trapped behind my monitor.
All right, guys.
Okay.
The video is ending.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. So until next
Yep.
time, I'm Nate.
I'm Rick. Happy 4th of July.
I'm Chad.
And y'all be good people. Happy America Day. Take care.
America! Oh, well, I should not raise my hand saying that. America! Fuck yeah! That was our old salute, anyways.
Yeah, he just goes, whoa! It's like, no.
Thumbnail.
All right, motherfuckers, that was fun.